Yeah, and I guess one of the beauties of the series as well, Mal, and obviously you're heavily involved in this, is that you know the guys just basically turn up at the racetrack, step in and drive. There's not a lot of maintenance on them. It's all done by the group at Sutherland Mitsubishi, and I mean there's not a lot that the guys can change. So it's really down to the car, and it makes life a bit easier.
Well, it certainly is. It's one of those series in Australia where you don't have to be a mechanic, you don't have to have a pit crew, you don't have to have a trailer, a toolbox. You just turn up and drive the car, leave the rest up to us.
Well, Young certainly threw the lead away there, went in too hot coming onto the front straight, and he's let both Dean Evans and Chadwick back through. So he's obviously a good chaser, not such a good leader, because out in front he just pushed a little bit too hard.
Certainly there's Taplin up there, one of the rookies of this year's series, bought the ex-Michael Brock car from Adelaide, both Adelaide residents. Here's Francois Jury in the dent buster car, almost putting a dent in the front of his car.
I'll tell you what, he certainly forced his way through then, and Bailey certainly dropped back a couple of spots. Borg managed to slip through as well, and Joy certainly didn't ask any questions when he drove through on Bailey that time around. Do you have to be aggressive with these cars, or are they quick when they're smooth as well?
Well, yeah, it's a combination of both. You have to be a little bit aggressive, but when you're a bit too aggressive, that's when you start slamming and crunching the gears and whatever, and that's when you start going slow.
Well, look down the inside from Taplin on Mohan Pereira there. Pereira again, he just doesn't like that corner. Out in the bush, he's in the dirt, that'll cost him. Here's a look from Borgs now. Pereira is going to go down the inside, and Borg is pushed wide. This is a big off. I tell you what, he's nearly in Goulburn. He's gone that far off the racetrack. He's still on the grass, still on the noise, and gets back on the track just behind the guys. I tell you what, these things work all right on the grass.
Yeah, I didn't know these Toyota tyres are actually good for off-roading as well. We should introduce them to the Rally Championship.
I tell you what, he certainly didn't lose much time with that. He stayed on the gas and drove it hard. Now Young has starting to put some pressure on the back of Chadwick. He closes right in on the tail. Can you get a slipstream at this part of the circuit?
Well, you certainly can, but it has to be on a higher speed section of the track, mainly along the main straight. Around the back here, not necessarily, but he's just getting in there. Headlights are on, all intimidation, but Rob Chapman's done a bit of racing before. Gary Young puts it right off on the outside of the circuit. Obviously, Alan Shepherd, car owner of the Thrifty car, will be watching this closely.
There was a little bit of a nudge there, I noticed as well. Is that what contributed to the car pushing off on the circuit?
Yeah, probably would have been. You know, they do tend to say rubbing is racing, and that's probably how one make series has got to be. You'll notice that the panel shops do a roaring business at the end of these rounds.
Well, the Thrifty number 27 of Young finished second in the first race, and he wants that place back again. Dropped back after leading, and he is very, very furious. You can see how aggressive he is. He's got the headlights on. That's a bit of an intimidation tactic, isn't it? Yeah. Well, here comes series organiser, Mr. Big Bill O'Gorman in the number 44 car, doing a great job. A little bit further back in the field, he's racing hard with the 69 of Keen Booker, who's a newcomer to the championship. Back on board with Borg now. Big desperation under brakes. That was not going to work.
Yeah, one thing that we did not mention earlier, Nathan, is it had been raining just prior to this second Mirage round at Wakefield Park. That could, well, these guys going offline, as soon as they go 1 millimetre offline, get that wet patch, she's all over.
Yeah, obviously that's contributing to all these guys spearing off. Poor old Denham was taken out with that move as well, and I think I can hear the Eagles playing in the background with a bit of desperado. He certainly tried a little bit too hard with that move, and I don't think it was going to come off. But look at Evans. I tell you what, he's just throwing this car around. He's not shy. Big oversteer from Booker there. He's also getting into the North Shore Mitsubishi 69.
Yeah, Keen Booker having his first run in the Mirage Series from North Shore Mitsubishi. He's having an absolute ball. He can't wait to get to the next round at Queensland Raceway.
Well, Dean Evans has pulled out a little bit of a gap now. Chadwick's still in second. Young back in third. We're on board with Young now as he starts to dive the car. And this looks like a crucial part of the circuit. As I say that, Chadwick drops a wheel. That will cost him second place. I'm quite certain of that.
Now we're back with the fast falls cars of Dean Evans. He's showing the rest of these guys a clean pair of heels. He's saying to the guys, catch me if you can.
You see in the background, Gary Young did manage to get past Chadwick to take second place, and it's obviously a fairly slippery part of the race circuit over the back there, because down under brakes, we've seen a lot of people going off.
Yeah, and it is also cold down here today, Nathan. The temperature of the track has dropped considerably, that shower we had not only an hour ago.
I don't think it's anything but cold down this way, is it? It's always freezing down Goulburn way. Wakefield Park just outside Goulburn, a couple of hours from Sydney. Fantastic racetrack, and they've made a lot of changes to it over the last 12 months, and a lot of the race drivers certainly enjoyed the new changes.
Well, certainly have. It's opened up some of these corners. You can see by the wider entry and exit, particularly up this section. Obviously needed a little bit wider for
Yeah, that's Borg. He certainly got a bit of oversteer and drove the car off the racetrack there. Cost him dearly. A lot of guys have been doing that, but lap's starting to wind down now for Dean Evans.
And these guys have got to appreciate that they've been to some of the best tracks in Australia. They're going to be racing this year at Eastern Creek Raceway, Queensland Raceway. They've done Bathurst, they've done the Adelaide Street Race. Yeah, and I've just noticed that Gary Young back there in the chasing of Dean Evans has actually pulled out another lap record on this Toyo tyres.
Well, the guy can certainly drive, that's for sure. Dean Evans, though, no doubt about that. He's going to greet the checkered flag and take 2 from 2 in the first round of the 2001 Toyo Tyres Mirage Championship. A great drive to him. You can see the crew pretty happy with that. Gary Young will take second. Rob Chadwick will take third. A sensational first round of the 2001 Toyo Tyres Mirage Series.